Variety.tv.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Australian Ultimate Championships 2018 here on the sunny Gold Coast. My name is Daniel Clinton, and today in what is one of the final matches for the Opens pool play, we have Sublime playing Outbreak. Sublime from WA, Outbreak from South Australia, Brett Middleton, Tim Davis. Sublime bringing his zone on defense, pulling to start the game. Davis goes long with a bullet of a forehand that shoots through the hands of Wilson Tran. And we're off. Jackson Bochet, Ryan Kelly. Klein gets around, manages to stop the flow. Bochet sees Francois, who is being a monster. He was a monster yesterday in the game that we covered. He will probably be a monster here again. Francois working against the similarly stocky Sean Lace. Bochet with a layout to begin. Sublime with trademark athleticism. They score the first point in a break. And Outbreak are going to have to rue their chances there. Well, Sublime, they've been having a fairly good tournament thus far. Of course, got the win yesterday, which was a very, very good thing for them. They are looking for quarters. They are in the hunt. Outbreak have not been so lucky. They have struggled thus far this tournament. The results have been less than stellar. Then we finally see the replay. Francois, low throw. Bochet does well, gets down to gather that one in, score the point. Davis of the Sean variety underneath the pull as we return. Sean of the Lace variety. Tim Davis, Lace. Davis still inside the cup is Tim. He gestures in. He's not really got much at the moment. He gets it to Lace. They're caught a little bit. Tonkin working behind the cup. Sublime playing very nicely though. Klein gets underneath that, moves it to Tim Davis. Davis goes down the line again and again through the hands. This time, Lee Russell. And Jeremy Ha, a dangerous thrower. Oh, Kanziri can't catch it. And dangerous. But I wasn't expecting it to be dangerous for his own team. Sean Davis throws some pie. Tim Davis underneath it. And a huge grab. Lee Russell rises above the pack. Sean Davis gets the reset. I'm sure he would have wanted that throw back. He'll reset to Schrader. Sean Davis, red zone. Inside break, he finds his brother for the score. The Davis boys combine and Outbreak convert their O point. That is what they wanted. That is much better, much better from the boys from South Australia. And they level this one up at one apiece. And that throw from Davis was absolute garbage. It went up in the air, it hung for an eternity. Lee Russell gets good spot here and then just elevates with no momentum. Phenomenal play. And then Davis, well, after a very, very swilly throw, makes up with a nice pinpoint pass, finding his brother in the end zone. Good to see that Outbreak are going to not let Sublime have this game easy. They go down 2 breaks there. I think that's some real problem signs. But by maintaining parity, yes, they're down the break, but they're staying within 1. And that's not insurmountable. Not for any team at this tournament. It is very, very even. So a pretty good pull. Andy Baddix, man taking the duties there. O will pick it up for Sublime. And Outbreak have seen what Sublime are doing defensively, and they're going to bring some of their own zone. Hugh Osborne gets it around the edge of the cup. He breaks inside, finding a gap, fouls. Fast throw, it bounces off knees. It died straight out of the hand. Davis, Middleton, that lefty style, goes down and it's grabbed. All of a sudden, Outbreak, get the break back. It's 2-1. Sublime. Sublime are definitely my pick to win this game, but I think Outbreak are going to have a few words to be said on that topic. And just a quick skill error, too much speed, not enough thought going into the throw before it was made in the middle of the field. Results in a turn. We see here they're trying to go fast, and that disc just, it nosedived. It nosedived, and that was all they need. Brett Middleton receiving the quick pass, and then power position. That's an easy score. So we're back. We're back on serve, back where we should have been had there been no breaks. But as there's been 2 breaks, 1 apiece, it is up and down at the moment. In terms of results in this pool, Sublime currently 1-2, Outbreak 0-3. They've had a rough time. I did mention it earlier. Outbreak, they went down 6-15 to Wildcats. They went down 8-15 to the Melbourne Juggernaut. They've gone down to Colony Pillage 9-15. It's been a rough tournament thus far. This could be their opportunity to get a win on the board and maybe find themselves an outside chance for quarters. O is going to work against this zone. Fouls, breaks inside. Osborne again. Huge bid, but a throwaway. Hugh Osborne has turfed the disc for Sublime, and Sean Davis is going to pick it up. Schrader works off the head of the stack. Davis goes physically through the mark. Wilson Tran breaks again. Outbreak down that weak side, or the strong side, the break side rather. Davis reaches before it pops and then hucks it. It's Lee Russell. He's going to have to work, and it bounces off his hands. Fouls worried him out of it, and fouls. Goes back the other way. Hugh Osborne underneath it. Baddix has to play with body, and he puts a little bump on as he gets the block. Outbreak are running with Sublime early. Andy Baddix with a huge height mismatch, but he does enough. Plays in front position to get the play. Sean Davis will bring this one in. The previous pass was dropped. We see Outbreak in their patented hexagon offense. A little bump from Hugh Osborne on the mark. Davis clears, Andy Baddix comes. The reset's there, Andy Baddix works inside. Tran, Davis. Seeing a lot of the disc is Sean Davis. He's going to air it out again. And there's Lee Russell. He catches the second one. A break, Outbreak. Outbreak, they are flying here early. And Sublime look a little bit lost. The Western Australians aren't sure what the hell Outbreak have had for breakfast. But whatever it is, it had a lot of bundi in it. The chili is working. And Sean Davis is throwing his team into a commanding position here early. Phenomenal. Outstanding. Sublime, they are my pick to win this game. I didn't even think it was going to be close. And I think the Outbreak boys have overheard me and said, Daniel, the hell you know? You know nothing, Jon Snow. Get out of here. An Outbreak, they're going to be on defense now, downwind. The wind has died down a little bit since this morning. It was quite strong in the morning. It's now gusty, more of a thrower's breeze than a defensive help. We've seen a lot of zone and neither side able to really do much against them. It's been in broken field play that the scores have come. Sean Davis out there on the line, calling the line, the young man from the north of Adelaide. Been a great servant of Ultimate in South Australia, had played some representative duties, and he is arguably the best combination of Chris Davis, his older brother, and Tim Davis, his other older brother. Three brothers that play. Chris, of course, works for the AFL now in Queensland, and he's not at this tournament at the moment. Tim, exceedingly strong receiver, reliable, and Sean Davis, well, he brings a bit of everything. So straight up mark, out of the horizontal, goes Sublime. In a good spot. Kanziri rather looks for Boche, who gets some separation. It's cut off. Jeremy Ha into space. This is an excellent matchup. Ha working against Davis. Francois around the edge of Battix, and Francois has dropped it cold. Unbelievable. Davis with a high release. He's getting around him. Get around him. It's Davis. He is tearing this game open right now. There's nothing the young man can't do. A high release flick for the score. Incredible. 4-1 and a string of breaks to Outbreak. And it was Greg Schrader catching the point for Outbreak. We're going to have a timeout. I'm going to go do some research because I was wrong. Well, I was wrong anyway this far. We'll be back.
House party win! Hey boys, great. Yeah, just like Joe said, we've got to keep pushing. Yeah, push up. 1, 2, 3, push! Yeah, boys, let's go! Guys, follow the stick at night. Stick at notes to victory, boys. Stick at notes.
The instructions were follow the post-it notes to victory. I've got no idea what's going on there, but it's working thus far. There's a long way to go in this game. It is early, but the string of breaks is alarming. It is concerning. Baddix, pretty good looking pull. It sits, it floats. Ha plays it in. Boche working out of this 4-handler, 3 downfield set. Looks like an isolation of sorts on Ryan Kelly. The taller receiver down the field. They're working handler isolation. Ha drops the disc cold again. Another drop for Sublime. They are digging themselves a hole, but the hand block back the other way. Jeremy Ha is willing his team back in this game. Francois picks up the disc. They go squirrely. Ha, power position, back they go. Francois looking for Ha. He can't find him. Jackson Boche comes near side. Can't find him. Stall. Gets high. Brett Middleton is a huge animal. You cannot throw that. You cannot throw that. He will make the play every single time. And Sean Davis, will he throw another assist? Davis. The stall increases. Baddix on the open side. Lee Russell. And Andy Baddix, he is not impressed with that throw. He has overcooked that. Jackson Boche will go back and pick this up. That block from Middleton. Wow. Something special. Middleton, probably the best player in South Australia in the Opens division, the men's division. Long-time Australian representative. Played mixed. Boche goes long, outside in. Kanziri working against Schrader. Kanziri has space, and he romps it in. And Jackson Boche loves it. And that was a pretty good throw. He has ripped that 70 yards with no wind-up. Pure muscle down the sideline. And that, Kanziri, he just generated enough separation that Schrader couldn't reel him in. And 4-2 the score. And Outbreak, they're going to rue their chances there. Davis, with disc in hand, had the opportunity to throw yet another assist and completely turn the game on head. But he gets foot blocked or hand blocked or something blocked by Ha. And then Brett Middleton back the other way. Phenomenal head-high layout D. Outbreak are in this game, and Sublime have been pushed to the edge of the cliff. We will see what this Sublime team is made of here. Under the pump against a team that has really struggled this weekend. It's 0-3 heading into this game. They would have fancied themselves in the pre-game warm-up. But the beginning has not gone to script. Outbreak have gone completely rogue, and Fowles is actually going to not have a great pull there. It's in line with the brick mark, and Sean Lace will pick this up. Outbreak, another offensive look. It's a stack. Malhotra works in the lane, goes deep. Tonkin comes under, but the brick is called. Klein sets the stack for Outbreak. There's the undercut. Lee Russell gets the reset back to Lace. Tonkin to width, and the disc bounces into his forearms. He drops it. Hugh Osborne underneath. Osborne with fast movement off Kyle O. Getting the disc again, driving the offense in that John Damiani style. Osborne, O. Oh, it pops up. It makes it awkward. It's fine though, he catches it. Ashvin Nair comes near side off the head of the stack. Nair goes back to O. O with dominator movement. Sublime, Hugh Osborne has worked in, and there is the score. Sublime go back with a break, and all of a sudden, the momentum that had been all in one direction comes back. See here, just lots of squirrely handler movement. Dominator movement from Kyle O. Opening up that break side space. Hugh Osborne clearing. And then the around for the score. Outbreak not strong enough on the mark to stop that throw. Prevent that option. Prevent that angle. And Sublime finally finds something. There is a spark of life yet. Sublime, they've always been an athletic team. They've always been a team with big plays, with exciting moments. And this weekend has been the same. Their results thus far have been a mixed bag. They lost to Melbourne Juggernaut 15-13. They lost to Colony Pillage 15-12. But they managed the upset against Fishwick United yesterday afternoon, 15-8. Of course, we covered that here. And it was a phenomenal game. Now they're playing Outbreak. And this is really to decide the middle of the table. Who comes where? If Sublime can win here, they do everything possible to take the last spot out of the B pool into quarters. If they lose, wow, it's going to be a very interesting situation, as Sublime and Outbreak will both have 1 win, 3 losses apiece, and depending on what happens with the Wellington Wildcats over behind us playing Pillage, if they lose, it will be a 3-way tie, and that's what we love. 3-way ties, tiebreakers, teams missing out by goal difference. Lace, Davis, they've got a long way to go here, Outbreak, and they're looking a little bit unsteady and unsure on offense. No clear ideas. Lace has Middleton going out, and he looks for Middleton, who misreads it. The breeze coming into play. Jeremy Ha goes fast, and he points. He was a weapon yesterday. Francois looks inside, doesn't throw it to Boche, does go with the around. And Boche, high release flick. He saw what Cheyenne Davis was doing and liked it. He's going to bring it out himself again. High release flick, Francois. Throws the fake. Goes through contact. Kanziri, Francois, Kanziri. Sublime a little bit static down the field. They reset, maintain possession. And Jeremy Ha gets a reset. Things calming down. Sublime with a very calm offensive point thus far. Kelly, open side. Boche loves it. He is a large source of energy, a large source of experience, and that levels it up 4 apiece. This is the Sublime I was expecting to see. They just rocked up a little bit late to the fields. They were still in the car when Outbreak were here, ready to play. See the throw, Jeremy Ha. Ryan Kelly just open side, and then the final pass, defender caught in the lane, knows nothing about it, and Boche. Again, another score. Boche been on the scoreboard a lot so far. 2 scores, a big assist. He is a huge part of this Sublime team, and you can see why. He's just clawed his team back into the game through his offensive prowess. Sublime now their defense. They've gone 3 in a row. After going down 4 in a row to Outbreak, are we going to see a game of runs? Will it be all one way and then all back the other? There's the pull fouls. Struggling really to find much penetration into the breeze. He's going to, well, it's going to work out. And Davis immediately looking for Schrader. Schrader! Couldn't get the legs under him. Just couldn't get himself set and get the propulsion required. Kylo, he's been reliable early, and he's going to immediately huck it. And there's a lot of space back there, a lot of separation. But too much. Turnover, going to go back the other way. Davis. Alexander. Finds the reset to Davis, who goes fast to Baddocks, creating some angles. Andy Baddocks unleashes. Chow underneath it. It's going left, it's going right. The body is there. Great position. Sublime are going to have another opportunity for their 5th point in a row. If they score this outbreak, they just have to call a timeout. They can't go down 5 in a row and not do something to break the momentum of the Sublime team. It's going to be Kyle O bringing it in for Sublime. Been so incredibly reliable thus far. And again, hits a good pass. Osborne underneath. Osborne the reset. O works up the line, gets power position, has receivers going out. They're the same third though. It's going to be a hard throw to make. Chow is in there, but he gets skied again. And Sublime 5 in a row. 5 in a row. It took them a moment. They were still on the way to the fields when time on was called, but they are well and truly here right now. That throw from Kyle O was impressive, to say the least. Puts it on a really good spot. It's a bit of a 50-50. But more a 75-25 to the Sublime advantage. Chow caught underneath it. And, wow. Using all the depth of the field. Players made and the timeout is called. So we'll take a quick break. I'll have a drink with the players. Well, the players will have a drink. I'll have a drink. And we'll be back more. Sublime a little bit slow to break out of their huddle. No game advisors over here. This is, of course, the Ulti TV stream. The stream provided kindly by Ulti TV for free this weekend. After, of course, funding the production crew to come over and live stream the other field. And well, Mike Palmer and his team just happened to sneak in enough gear to put on a second field as well. And if we weren't here, we wouldn't have seen this game. We wouldn't be knowing about the turns of events that we've seen thus far. Outbreak out to a 4-1 lead. Buoyant, surfing on a wave of emotion and momentum. And then Sublime deciding that, hey, they want to play Ultimate now, and Outbreak are going to be no chumps. Davis, the wind has picked up quite a bit, so this is a strong breeze. Middleton gains separation, goes around Baddix, gets heavy contact from Osborne, but plays through it anyway. That's good stuff from both Baddix and Osborne. A call, I think Baddix called contact. And you see the contact comes as he goes to pivot back in. Osborne just leaning on him a little bit, I think. Osborne, had he been still, would definitely have a right to not call anything. And Davis, after being hot, has gone completely off the boil. Here's cold as a wet fish. Daniel Chang goes around. O has been so good, providing the foundation. And Andy Baddix has caught the disc. It seems to be a call. It seems to be uncontested as well. Brett Middleton, he's lovely. He's a lovely guy. Some people are a bit angry. Some people are a bit grumpy. Brett Middleton, he's just lovely. He's a lovely person. Speaking of lovely people, Greg Schrader as well, he's pretty nice. And speaking of nice, we'll segue straight into the Sublime score. 6 in a row now. It's like Outbreak, they're a different team from the one we saw to start the game. They were trusting themselves, they were executing, and all of a sudden, they're now looking like the team that has gone 0-3 thus far this weekend. See Jason Carr on the line. Calling the line for Sublime. Another D point. Right now, the Outbreak offense can't get off the field. They have been stuck out there for the last 20 minutes. They need to execute. They need this score. They need to get off the field and start playing D. Jeremy Ha, pretty good pull. It's hard pulling left to right. We've seen Fowl struggle. And Jeremy Ha, very sizable thrower. Malhotra underneath. Resets to Lace. Klein creating some width. Malhotra underneath, cutting hard. Lace again. Davis for not much meters, but a lot of width. And now they're going to put it up. And a massive grab by Jeremy Ha. Another turnover. Sublime, they have been miserly. When they get the turn, they're not really giving Outbreak much opportunity. And just as I say that, it's either laugh or cry at this point. Lace getting ridden a little bit. Doesn't appreciate the affection. It's a great matchup that, Francois v. Lace, similar styles. Davis, the around, under pressure. Doesn't go to Malhotra, comes in middle of the field to Alexander. Middleton, little bit of a travel, but never mind. Brett Middleton. Lace gets called travel, makes up his ground. Francois continues the count. Stall gets high. The reset. Middleton now, they are in the red zone. A huge bid. Jackson Boucher goes head high against the much taller Malhotra. Tonkin finally gets the swing. He's been looking for it. Lace on the second effort. And there's a call on the mark. It looks to be uncontested. Lace. Tim Davis goes slash off the front of the stack. A violation is called. Someone moving early. All the players need to wait until the disc is tapped in. So I believe that might actually be a foul. Another foul call. Somewhere down the field though. Alexander underneath, a huge bid, Carlo. And again, another bid. Tim Davis, though, he's done what they needed, and Outbreak, after Sublime throw everything at it, including the kitchen sink and Jackson Boucher, they can't make the play to make it 6-5. Oh, that bid from Carlo, and then the follow-up bid. Tim Davis, though, he's got an incredible grip, does Tim Davis. He always catches one hand and it always makes me nervous, but he rarely drops it. See in the distance there, Matt Hurd, coach of Outbreak. Strong defensive player is diminutive Hurd. An Outbreak. Obviously missing a lot of big names. Lots of good players that couldn't be here this weekend. Joel Pillar probably at the top of that list. There are lots of men tuning in on the stream. I saw a couple of names. Gentlemen that, well, probably would be here if they could be. There is the throw. Again, the pullers having a large amount of difficulty in this breeze. Nair picks it up and goes immediately with a blading throw that has found his receiver on his hip. And Sublime deep in the red zone, the reset. Hugh Osborne can't catch it. And as soon as the disc pops in the air, it's a turn. Davis, he was red hot and then he was ice cold. Can he go back to being red hot again? Wilson Tran looks for Russell, and Tran has just axed that out of bounds. Sublime. Glenn Fowles will pick it up. And there is the cut into the corner. It's too easy for Sublime. That's 7-5. It's close. Sublime, though, are in the lead, as you would have predicted. Poor defensive effort there. No way you can let Hugh Osborne get on the open side of you. Once he does, he's gone. So Jeremy Ha with the best pull we've seen thus far. Davis to Lace. Tonkin open side. Sublime have brought a bit of a strange looking zone. Middleton breaks through to Alexander. Can't get it to Malhotra. Lace continues to anchor the offense. Tonkin fakes the scuba. Wisely puts it away though. Davis in a handling role. Lace, Tonkin, and Eichner goes, and Tonkin decides to lay it out there for him. Outbreak. As easy as you please, they go down the sideline. The Sublime defense paused them for a little bit. It held them for a little bit. And then Martin Tonkin made a great throw. So 6-7, opportunity for Sublime to take half. I think they'll be happy with 8-6. But I don't think Outbreak will be happy with 8-6. Especially after the start they had, the lead that they generated through a string of turns and conversions, to then let that slip and go down 6 in a row to the Sublime defenses. Well, it's a major issue, and it's one they will have to sort out if they want to transition from being a mid-tier team into a top-tier team. Top-tier teams, of course, are so good at not giving up a lead when they get it, or even generating a lead for themselves in the first place. Outbreak's first few points, they were top tier. The points that followed, not so much. And while Sublime, after a not so much Sublime start, they are now playing as a top tier team. Andy Baddocks pulls that as best he can, rolls out of bounds. The breeze is noticeable, but it's not unplayable. Kyle O will bring it in. Fouls, middle of the field. O goes up the line, covered well by Andy Baddocks, and Fowles just has to huck it. And Daniel Chang has found himself with the disc deep in the red zone. Hugh Osborne, he's been that receiving, throwing threat, getting the disc, and then looking to distribute. Osborne goes inside out. That is swell, but it comes down. It doesn't come down. It does come down. It doesn't come down. It does. It doesn't. Glenn Fowles with great spirit saying I dropped it. He had it too. He had a really good piece of it. He did just so well to get there, and it just bobbles out of the hands, and very good spirit there from Glenn Fowles, just owning up to it and saying, yeah, all right, I didn't catch that. Love to see that. Tran goes fast back to Andy Baddix, and Hugh Osborne with pressure on Schrader, who drops the disc. Carlo goes with reasonable pace to the disc and gets the offense moving. Left hand up the line, Fowles. He gets rewarded for awesome spirit, and that's halftime. Sublime out to a strong lead here in Outbreak. They have been in this game, but Sublime in control.
But it's worth it. Old man taught me free is worthless, and the sky's the same as the dirt is. So the caves and the lakes where I'm lurking, same version, post curtain. I don't wanna say what's on my mind. I just wanna drink a little wine. Might get a little bit high. Spend a little money, waste time. I just wanna do what I do. I just wanna do what I do. I don't wanna say what's on my mind. I just wanna drink a little wine. Might get a little bit high. Spend a little money, waste time. I just wanna do what I do. I just wanna do what I do.
Sometimes I just wanna get stoned all day and play Nintendo. Sometimes I just wanna get toasted and chill with my best bro. Sometimes I just wanna get dough and spend it at DFO. Sometimes I drink VSOP and sometimes I'm dead broke. Sometimes I just wanna get high, cause sometimes I get low. Sometimes I feel like nobody gives a fuck. I feel like flesh bone, and I don't know why, but I won't go crying about that shit. Just let go. Sometimes I just need a little bit of time to be alone with my headphone. Like me some of that electro, give me some of that new leftover. Might fuck with a little bit of info. Might be some tone when I feel good. All that I really wanna do is chill and build that go. Don't wanna stress about the next show. Feel like my head's about to explode. Sometimes I've been in my room all week and I wanna pack up and get go. Sometimes we've been on the road for a month and I miss my girl when I get home. And when I get home, I get home. And when I get lonely, I'm wrong. Sometimes I just need to get blown. That's not no innuendo. Sometimes I don't wanna overdo it, tryna be the man. I ain't tryna impress nobody. Just wanna express who I really am. And I know this ain't my best flow, but I gotta be me. Don't wanna compete, but if you really want it, then let's go. But I don't even really know what I want anyway. What I really need is to let go of the ego and chill. Sometimes I just wanna kill. Sometimes, cause we ain't got a lot of time, and it ain't no way to stop the time. But it make time to take time out and chill. Sometimes I just wanna kill. Sometimes, cause we ain't got a lot of time, and it ain't no way to stop the time. But it make time to take time out and chill.
I don't wanna say what's on my mind. I just wanna drink a little wine. Might get a little bit high. Spend a little money, waste time. I just wanna do what I do. I just wanna do what I do. I don't wanna say what's on my mind. I just wanna drink a little wine. Might get a little bit
know too much lately. Everything's crashing down. So how do I pick up the pieces that have broken me? And everything around this seems to be holding me.
So I say, what you gonna do about it? How you gonna handle it this time? Tell me that you think about it. So what you gonna do about it? How you gonna handle it this time? Tell me that you think about it.
Everything around this. Everything around this. I'll catch the city bus with a man who's made a stream. Find time to rid the world of all your precious sin. There lies the library man living in his patronated life. I'll find solitary in the pages in between. F-pause, broke machine. All these better things. Run, tell a better man. Go find him if you can. On my radar, I see you on my radar. You know you're on my radar. I got you on my radar. Uncertain time. Uncertain time. I yell poetry to heady men who listen. You Bible bashing bigots keep blistering me. I'll find religion exactly where I shouldn't. If this month there is fire,
Well, welcome back from halftime, ladies and gentlemen. And here we're going to see the conclusion of the second half. Men's pool play.
I see you on my radar.
And a crucial game for both these teams. This is definitely the stream to be on. This is definitely where the action is. The other game not nearly having as much impact on the pools. And Outbreak out of halftime, immediately roll with the zone. O to fouls inside. Nair. Quick flip. Outbreak struggling to contain. Holds it down through progress for the moment. It seems to be a foul call.
You know you're on my radar. I got you on my radar. I found you on my radar.
Thank you to everyone who's tuning in from all over Australia and the world. Thank you for the comments. Some of the support, the cheering.
Still got you on my radar.
A little bit light on the heckling, which is rare. Uh-oh, has thrown that into the ground. He tried to go fast to Nair, and again, good spirit from Sublime. Honesty and integrity. Straight away saying, yeah, that wasn't enough. Baddix. Alexander can't find separation. Petrie. Baddix. And Baddix is going to huck that out of bounds. Or it's going to actually sit and come back. A big pack forms. And at the front, there is a foul. And Andy Baddix has called a foul on the forehand. I'm always a little bit perplexed about forehand fouls. Just the mechanics, the location of the release. Like Makes it much harder to foul than on the backhand side. Have another look. Okay, maybe there was a bump before the throw. And I'll leave it to the academics. And hopefully we have turned the music off. As we see another turn. It's, well, it's becoming a disaster. At a great rate of knots, short field situation, not much yardage to go. Fouls can't find the short pass on the forehand side. He's going to reset to O. Inside break. Chang, who's been a monster thus far. Alexander bids, but can't get there. And Hugh Osborne again, popping up for the 9-6 score. And Sublime, after a momentary turn, they get the disc back and punch it in. See a replay of the score. Alexander, it's a decent bid, but he was out of position, had gone too far the other side, and Hugh Osborne working back into space. It was interesting at halftime. Sublime spent a fair bit of time in a huddle, talking, discussing, whereas Outbreak spent precisely zero time in a huddle, discussing. Clearly the approaches for both teams, very, very different. Outbreak, it's largely been their skill errors and lack of execution that has led them to be down in this game. Had they completed more passes, dropped fewer discs, they would be in a much better spot. And well, Sublime, they're still tinkering. They're looking for a better way of doing things. This game is still reasonably close. You feel a return to that early form by Outbreak, and you could see this game being leveled up at 9. Even Outbreak maybe even sneaking into the lead as we go down the stretch. The game gets later. Maybe Outbreak can get out to a 11-10 lead or a 12-11 lead. Davis demands the disc, goes short underneath to Martin Tonkin, who had got a lot of space off the poach of Kanziri. Richard Klein, high release, good looking flick. Sean Lace, Russell Lee goes, he's got to work against two, and it's going to blade and float and go out the back of the end zone for yet another throwaway. Ultimate Frisbee at the end of the day is an easy sport. Don't let it touch the ground. Don't run with it and catch it in the end zone. Let's not overcomplicate things here. And it seems like Outbreak are trying to reinvent the wheel. It hasn't looked good. They are fighting with everything they've got. Tooth, nail, and claw. Jackson Boche will bring it up for Sublime. Looks immediately for the reset. Dominator movement, gets it back from Jeremy Ha. Ryan Kelly gets covered well by Middleton. A throw into space. It's a great throw. Kanziri, Jackson Boche to Kelly. And Kelly drops it gold. Sean Lace. He threw the last one away. He'll have another opportunity. Tim Davis works inside and Ha. I don't know if that's bounced off Ha's hand or Tim Davis's hand, but Sublime, they get it back and Francois picks it up. Boche on the break side. Fakes the backhand. Fakes the dad backhand. Looks for the forehand and goes to the huck. It'll sit up. It's into the breeze. It's going to go back the other way. It could go out of bounds. It will. Stall was getting higher there, so Boche elects not to wait for the reset. Play for position only. Lace inside. Tonkin and Kanziri does enough. Boche will get it again, gets it moving. Jeremy Ha is going to put one up, and Tonkin's in the area. He's tall. Has the height advantage against Kanziri and the beard advantage. Underneath, it floats, and Boche is the only one who gets to that. An Outbreak, it is completely scrappy at the moment. Sublime almost playing down to Outbreak's level a little. Oh, it's off hands again. Skill errors abound. Lace points. Goes underneath, Tonkin. He had that great throw early, and now he's going to throw it again, but he's thrown it over Davis's head. What the hell? He has dropped the Gray, the skyhook, the skill tester over the head of Jeremy Ha. It is phenomenal. Tim Davis puts out a paw and plucks it. I cannot believe it. It was a horrible read by all three. Tim Davis with the wingspan, the paw, and drops the hook. Maybe that's the spark that Outbreak need. And Tim Davis, be proud of yourself there, young man. That's a great play. Oh, Sublime. Sublime need to go and contemplate their navel a little bit, I think. That was not what they wanted to do in that point. They not only had one, they had two. They had three opportunities to stretch their lead, and they just kept giving it back, turning it over.
Can you rub it in when we're out there?
Tim Davis, he was beat after that point. He put in a lot of work. He's coming off the field now. He'll have a break. Outbreak, you're going to need Tim Davis out there. Phenomenally reliable player. Sublime, their offense. They'll go downwind. Andy Baddock's pulling for Outbreak. We'll see what they bring on defense. Outbreak have run zones, and they're going to come down in man. The outcut is there. Osborne goes, and Glenn Fowles has not put that on a good spot. Osborne just a little bit too short. You imagine it's half a metre back to the right and a little bit further down, and Osborne goes huge. Davis really been quiet in the second half of this game after a blistering few first points. Schrader the inside. Break. Andy Baddocks throws that out of bounds. And Daniel Chang makes sure of it. So here comes Kyle O. Great to see him not having to be so heavily bandaged these days. Had some very serious burns, and he's still had laser treatment or something. He's out there and moving very, very well. One of the hardest training people you'll ever see, and Schrader is going to probably call a strip here. He had a big piece of that. Whether or not the disc was stopped, that is the question. Schrader picks up the disc. We'll have another look at it. And that throw is a hospital pass. That's how people lose teeth. We'll get elbows to the head. Schrader, it's uncontested. He has the disc. Petrie. It's a little bit worrying for Outbreak. And heavy contact from Fowles. Chow just plays through it. Alexander to Davis. And it is a bad throw by Alexander. It wobbled and died, and just not enough float for the speedy Davis to track down. So Kyle O will go and pick it in again. Sublime spent a lot of time training Lots and lots of gym posts if you're into that thing on the Sublime Facebook page. Kyle O has unleashed an absolute missile. If he caught that, I would have just packed up and gone home. There would have been no point in seeing anything else. That would have been the play of the tournament. I really feel like if I commentate this play, I'm just going to bring it down in quality. Because their throw was massive, the bid. And he nearly got there. The bid was exceedingly well timed. That was at the closest point as the disc moved away. Inside throw, Chang gets another block. That's his second of the point. And Kyle O to Osborne. Osborne looks for O up the line. It's floaty, and it's another turn. Alexander, though, is going to wrap it up and put a pretty bow on it. A present back for Sublime, who are grinding Outbreak down. And Chang with a great bid and no catch. This point feels like it's been going for a while now. Schrader, oh, it is. Outbreak, they seem to have lost it here. They've gone off the boil. Kyle O, he needs a good option here. He needs to channel his inner Damiani. He needs a good shot. Can he find the high percentage pass? He does. The underneath to the open side. And there's the cut into the open space. Petrie just getting burnt. And Sublime finally get the conversion that they're looking for, 10-7. Time is running out. There is not long left. Only another 5 odd points until Sublime potentially win this. See the replay. It's just a massive huddle right now. Sublime are huddled up, having a quick chat. Operative word being quick. So this is still between points, no timeout. Outbreak are on the line and ready to go. I think Sublime are going to go away. They're probably going to watch this game back tonight, and they're going to see a lot of good things. They're going to see a lot of bad things too, I think. I think in the second half, the scrappiness of the play by both teams, especially Sublime, has been not ideal. Jeremy Ha has had the best pulls thus far in this game from this left-hand side. Davis catches on the full and gets it to Sean Lace. Middleton underneath. He can throw it. Malhotra tries to work. Doesn't generate the separation though. Lace, heavy mark. Lace, high stall. And there's a call. Seems to be a violation. A marking infraction. Disc space. Seems like Lace has been not shy to call the disc space. He has been getting a lot of attention. Francois pulling the match up early and giving him a bit of a rub. And it's going to be uncontested. Disc called in. Davis. Oh, he nearly had it. He's working against the much longer Davis, who's going to go outside into Middleton. Another throwaway. Jeremy Ha, he really hasn't had the phenomenal game, the similar game to yesterday where he was everywhere in everything, throwing assists from every spot on the field. But he is putting it on the line defensively. He nearly got that block there, and now he's at the head of the stack. And the opportunity to create something. Kanziri, good catch down low. Off the boot laces, Jackson Poche goes inside out with the dad backhand, and it floats away. And Francois nearly makes up the distance, motoring around the edge of Malhotra. There's no slouch. And Lace will go back to pick it up. An Outbreak. They got 60 yards to travel. Can they do it? Can they complete their passes? Middleton. Oh, and Lace has thrown it away. You sensed it coming, Kanziri. He's been doing that all weekend, straight in the open side. 11-7, Outbreak. They go down a break. Another break. And in the context of this game, you feel like Sublime are finally getting to where they want to be. 4-point buffer. It's a good buffer. As you see the throw, and Kanziri, he has been an uncontainable cutter all weekend. Timeout is called. We'll take a break. We'll be back with the maybe the conclusion, depending on how quickly the points are scored, of this men's pool play action.
One, two, three, play!
Welcome back from the timeout. I know it's early in the tournament, but this is really Outbreak's tournament on the line at the moment. This is a game, a must-win game. If they want any kind of good result here this weekend, they must win this game. They lose here, it is going to be uphill in both directions to really fight into a position where that they can beat their seed. They're seeded down the bottom end of the pool. A win here, they control their own destiny. They have an opportunity, a chance at making quarters. They lose here, and well, the best they can do is ninth. Big bump on Middleton, who's going to huck it, but it's a bit short. It's going to sit. Fowles underneath it. He rises. I think Fowles had that first. I think Fowles had that well before Lee Russell. It looks pretty good from here. I had a great view of that. We'll see it. The huck is underthrown. They rise, they elevate, and yeah, fouls. Had that well and truly. Lee Russell is going to make a really good play out there on the field and hand the disc over. Good spirit. Okay, play call. Mandra. O. Inside. Osborne finds fouls, power position. Dominator movement. And Osborne looking. Can't find it. Now finds it. Big bid. Lace. Or rather Davis trying to get in the game. Osborne climbs and he gets it. Or he doesn't get it. He nearly had it on the second effort. Oh, there is a call on the field. An injury call. Someone is cramping by the looks of it. Looks like it might be Middleton. The Outbreak roster isn't particularly large, so they've all had a lot of point time, even though we've only played the 2 days. And that is phenomenally close. Hugh Osborne with great athleticism. Just comes in, Andy Baddocks in the coffin corner. Oh, and he's just thrown that directly at Glenn Fowles, who throws it in, flips it in. Hugh Osborne, the score. And 12-7. I think we're seeing the beginning of the end. Sublime. Outbreak are going to go home and they're going to rue their chances here because this game could be so different. Imagine if they just traded. Imagine if they'd only given up 2 breaks instead of 4 when they were out at that 4-1 lead. Imagine if they take half. Outbreak, they're just going to have to go away and they're just going to have to learn from this. And Sublime, they could find themselves quarterfinals. Highly likely, I would say, at this stage. And Sublime, if there was one team that you don't want to play in quarters, it is always Sublime. Doesn't matter what year, they are the giant slayers. Knockout ultimate, quarterfinals. Sublime just always seems to show up and beat someone they really shouldn't. Hopefully this is the year they can go one better than semis, as it always seems to be, and get into the finals. Be great to see the boys from Western Australia. Davis fakes, engages Lace. Kanziri's completely lost. Finds it though and gets the block. Lace had completely lost him for a moment, but Kanziri, knowing the space and knowing where the throw can go, gets there fast enough to get the block. Boche looking to the break side. Davis poaches a little. Ha throws a good looking under, and Ryan Kelly has hands like feet and feet of stone. He hasn't caught a disc. He is struggling, the big man. Sean Davis. He needs to find something. He needs to create something. Davis to Lace with dominator movement. Finds his brother, Tim Davis. Davis goes around Alexander. He's been strong. He's been cutting well. Not so much on the throwing side. Oh, that is a big hit from Ha. And hopefully Tim Davis is okay. He's taken a large hit to the knee there as he tried to make that play. Ha bidding with no vision of an uncontested everything. It's Tim Davis as he limps off the field. You can't blame Jeremy Ha for making the bid. It was a bit of an ugly bid though. He's created contact there, which is never okay. Hopefully Tim Davis is all right. And Andy Baddocks. He hasn't had a good run recently. He's thrown a fair few discs away. If there is one weakness to Andy Baddocks' game, it's throwaways and laziness on defense. He's gone some distance to correcting the whole defense issue, but the throwaway's still there. Klein working as a cutter down the field. Normally a handler. I like the adjustment, giving him an opportunity to cut and get some squirrely movement, where it's a little bit easier to gain separation and the potential for then to turn around and throw something to the end zone. Lace for the pop, and Schrader. Lace throws a fake without throwing a fake, and Kanziri bids huge. And disc space is called as Kanziri shows his attention to Lace and Davis in the corner. That is the score, and that is 8 points for Outbreak. 12-8 the score. Okay. D point now, Outbreak. A downwind D point as well. Just go back, Kanziri. Huge bid. He didn't want to see that open side throw go, and Lace just calm enough, waits for it, and then the break throw eventually comes after the disc space call. Some better offense there by Outbreak. They're clearing the space, making sure they're opening up room for the cutters to run into. And some nice spirit from Jeremy Ha. Just coming over to Tim Davis on the sideline, making sure he was okay after the injury. Would have been surprised to see Ha injured Tim Davis. It was an awkward angle, and Tim's knee was fairly vulnerable, but Tim's a bit of a unit these days. He's packed on a bit of muscle, and he stands over 6 foot, so. Unlikely the much smaller Ha can do much damage if Tim Davis is prepared for contact. It's just a very, very awkward angle. Fouls, open side, Osborne gets it in front of Schrader. Chang in the end zone. Beating Petrie to the spot. They're calling it as in. That's 13 points now. 13-8 the score. 2 more to go for Sublime to claim this and their semi-final berth, I would say. Oh, Outbreak. Outbreak has always been that team that has had the talent, has had the ability, but has never had the performance. And Sublime, they're having a good weekend thus far. As we go around the grounds, the game on the far field is tight. Wellington are giving Colony all they can handle and more over there, which is kind of just par for the course for any team from New Zealand. It seems like they just come over and ruin people's weekend. Home wreckers. 11 all over there. So that's a bit of fun. Of course, this is definitely the stream to watch, though. Sean Lace signaling he's ready. The Outbreak offense good to go. Glenn Fowles going to pull again for Sublime. He's been doing his best in this breeze, and again, it's a solid pull, goes past the brick mark. Lace will pick it up. Baddocks, the reset. Alexander comes with good timing underneath against O. Malhotra again, timing. And high release, a pick call in the stack. Lee Russell picking his defender on Richard Klein. Malhotra will get this one back. Been impressed with what Malhotra has shown in this game. Really like the way he looks as a receiver down the field. He's rangy, fast. I think with more game time, he has the potential to turn into something pretty good. Question, of course, is work. How much effort he puts in. Klein. He's got it in that forehand, ready to go. Malhotra on the end zone line. And you sense that it's either going to be a score or a layout block. Lace, has he got that in? Has he had control as he went out of bounds? They will talk about it. We'll have a replay. We have a replay. I mean, the question is, oh, he's on the line. I don't know if he's had control or not. The replay is somewhat inconclusive. We'll see it again. They're going to call it as in. So the players sorted out our replay. The question is, does he have control? I don't know. Sean Lace is probably the only one that will be able to answer that question. So they're going to call it as in. I think the right thing happened there. Sublime are satisfied. They're happy. 13-9 the score. Outbreak now. It's time for their defense to find another gear. If they can find another gear here, get a turn, get a big play, punch it in, maybe there's life yet. Maybe there's an opportunity. Well, Sublime, they're only 2 points away from booking their semi-final berth. Now, if they potentially go through in the 4 seed from this pool, they're going to face off against Colony Plunder, which is not great because Plunder is looking so incredibly strong this tournament. But if there's any team in this pool that has the potential to just pull a madness wild upset, you would say that's the Wellington Wildcats and Sublime Ultimate from Western Australia. Oh, Ryan Kelly has caught a disc. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause. It's been 80 minutes. Kanziri catches. Kanziri around the corner has thrown it out of bounds and it's not coming back. It's been 90 minutes anyway. Oh boy. I'm happy for Ryan Kelly though. That's good. So the disc is coming back. Sean Davis got on the scoreboard moments ago, and Outbreak, they need more from the little man. Jeremy Haar on the mark, another good matchup, Harvey Davis. Oh, he fits that into no space, and then Andy Baddocks has thrown that a long way. Tran toes the line and does catch it, but it looks too deep, yes. Wilson Tran will put that on the ground. Good spirit. Jeremy Haar will pick it up. Working against Davis, similar size, similar kind of players. Both willing to get off their feet and get after the disc. Both pretty good throwers too. Jeremy Haar probably having the advantage in that respect. He is capable of dropping absolute bombs. Francois to Kanziri, who's been so strong all weekend, but Francois, too much bicep, not enough tricep, has whaled that an incredibly long way. He's going 80, 90 metres on the fly with not much effort from Sam Francois. Well, Sean Davis is going to have another opportunity. He'll be bringing it in again for Outbreak. Done so much handling, and Andy Baddix has thrown away way too many discs. Lace, Schrader, looking deep, Francois. Lee Russell comes forward to cut it off, gets the reset off to Tonkin, who looks for the around. Can't get it off to Davis. Lace has that calm style. Davis can't get free. Can get free. And then Sean Davis, inside Outbreak to Schrader for the score. I mean, it's kind of over, but it's not over. And Sublime are going to call a timeout by the looks of it. Going to have a chat. They don't want this. They don't want Outbreak thinking they have a chance in this game. All it's going to take is a slight momentum shift, and, well, the cat will be amongst the pigeons. So that wasn't a timeout, just another one of these swift little Sublime huddles that they seem to do in between points. Well, Outbreak. Let's go hypothetical. Let's go theoretical. Let's go to the whiteboard. Outbreak, they get the turn, they convert the break. They convert the turn, rather. Goes to 11-13. Sublime score. Is 4 points too much to ask from Outbreak? We say no, because they scored 4 in a row at the start of the game. So, theoretically, if they can score this point, Outbreak are in a great spot to win. Can't half tell them from South Australia. Anyway, moving right along, Kyle O is walking back with that muscular stride. Sean Lace has picked up the matchup against Hugh Osborne. Osborne with a big height advantage there. Kyle O goes up the line. Fowles goes up the line. Big bid there from Chow. And Fowles straight down to Kyle O, who's in the end zone. Sublime, all it takes is that right angle, that right look, and they pinpoint the receiver in the end zone for the score. And that is a 14-10 scoreline. Well, Sublime upsetting Outbreak's plans. They don't even give them a sniff in that point. And wouldn't it be a story that Sublime? Imagine if Outbreak do get the 4 breaks in a row now, and then they lose on Universe. Wouldn't that be hilarious? Wow. Hilarious for some. Not so much for the Outbreak boys. I imagine they'd be absolutely heartbroken if that happens. And I can't help but feel like they're going to be a little bit disappointed in this game. They were in such a great position early, and then they went missing. We had to send the SES out after the Outbreak team because Sublime just showed up and put on that massive defensive run, and now they're bringing a wrinkle. And Baddix, he's thrown so many away, and Hugh Osborne seems to trip up a little bit on Greg Schrader. That's another turn, another Andy Baddix throwaway. Sublime, middle of the field, Nair. He's an aggressive thrower. He's going to reset it though, fouls, sticks out his hand, gets the disc, goes power. Oh, elevates. Middle of the field, Sublime, back to Nair, and he goes for the end zone. Oh, and it pops out on contact with the ground. Sublime give it back. And Outbreak, they have an opportunity. They're still alive in this game. Andy Baddix, he shows no fear. And Alexander, lays one out there that nearly gets blocked by Kyle O. Alexander is in the space a little bit. Davis looking, gets bumped a little on the mark. Lace goes up the line, tries to milk it in, can't get quite far enough. And they're looking to cram it in the cram hole. Outbreak. Baddix creates some width, goes around Davis, who sticks out that paw and catches one hand as he always does. Finds his brother with the reset, and there's Schrader in the end zone. They've broken Sublime. And is there a sting in the tail yet? Can Outbreak bring this game back from the brink? Oh dear. What an interesting situation we find ourselves in. Do you call a timeout as Outbreak? Do you ice Sublime a little bit? Give them too much time to think about it? Give them too much time to talk about it? Or do you just roll straight on? It looks like Outbreak are keen to roll straight on. Sublime have done another one of their little midpoint huddles. Swift huddle, and it looks like they are stacking their line for this point. They want to end the game here. They ideally should have ended it last point, but Outbreak, they haven't lied down. So on the line we have Francois, Boucher, Ha, Kanziri. Ryan Kelly's out there as well. Wouldn't it be a story if Ryan Kelly caught the winning goal? That would be outstanding. Good old hands of stone. Baddix ready with the pull. Sublime still organising their offense. Here comes the pull. And Baddix, for what feels like the first time this game, goes downwind. It's a pretty deep pull. Ha lets it bounce. Finds, doesn't go to Boucher. Comes wider. And Outbreak are going to put this on the hands of their zone. And it results in a turn. I can't watch. If you're a Sublime fan at the moment, you have your head in your hands. You are face palming. And Lace will pick it up. He's had a pretty good game, has Sean Lace. Not so much defensively, but it's been solid with the disc in hand. Schrader, high stall. Tran makes up his ground. Lace engages, big pick. Ha and Baddix coming together. Hopefully Jeremy Ha's okay. It's a solid hit. Baddix's shoulder looked like it hit Jeremy Ha in the neck or head. And he is actually going to call an injury here. It'll be Kyle O coming on. Well, sub one superstar for another. Why not? Tran with the disc. Diagonal stack from Outbreak. Isolating both the space to the middle of the field and space to the open side in the end zone. And the around to Schrader. Andy Baddix all of a sudden is turning it on. He's got his throwaways out of his system. And that makes it 12-14. And Sublime. Oh, Sublime, they're a team of confidence and runs, and at the moment, the confidence and the run is against them. As we see it again, Baddix gets the reset, and you see the communication actually between Baddix and Schrader. Schrader was expecting Andy Baddix to throw that and made the move as Baddix was throwing. They're hard to stop a break. And Sublime have got another little of their midpoint huddles going on. Wow. Baddix to Schrader, what a connection. 2 points in a row. Unless we have a timeout. I'm not sure if one was called. So Sublime have called a timeout. Oh, it's nervous moments. It's nervous moments. I've got Sublime's ticket to the semis, or the quarters rather, penciled in on my desk. All they need to do is cap the game and come and sign it off, and they'll be on the way. But well, I've also got an eraser here, and Brett Middleton has been eyeing that eraser off the entire time, and he's keen to erase Sublime's name and replace it with Outbreak. Middleton has actually been conspicuously absent from the line. He's been on the sideline a long time. Might be carrying a bit of a hamstring strain. Hopefully he's okay. And wow, it's a bit of a loss, a key loss for Outbreak. They need him out there on the field. Unfortunately, looks like he won't be taking part in this point. Outbreak's line, they've sorted out who's going to do what. Sublime still organising themselves on the right-hand side. Baddix will pull again for Outbreak. Okay. In what could be the final point for the third time. Sublime will receive the disc. Oh, and Andy Baddix has overthrown that. It won't go very far at all. It's about halfway. Ashvin now will pick it up. Leave Ashvin with getting some motion and movement down this strong side. The zone is on though. It caused a cheat turn last time, and it looks like Sublime are exceedingly determined not to let that happen for a second time. Throw through the middle of the cup to Chang, back to Fowles. Fowles, disc in hand, chance to win the game. Is this the play? The scuba! Oh, the scuba to book their place in the quarters. Glenn Fowles. Oh, what a way to do it too. It's heartbreak for Outbreak. Their tournament ends here. Best they can do is ninth. And Sublime live to fight another day. Outbreak did their best to shake the foundations of this Sublime team. And, well, they've held strong at the end of the day and got the win. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me. Don't go anywhere. We've got another 2 games here from the LTTV stream at Australian Nationals 2018 on the sunny Gold Coast. We look forward to seeing you then.
Alti.tv